Hello and welcome to the fourth podcast. Today you are blessed with Mr Goldman's beautiful tone.
Yes, I'm excited.
And obviously Mr Brasier here again. So today we're going to look at components of fitness. So instead of boring the life out of you like Miss Risebrow did last time, we're going to...
And you've done all the times.
And I've done every time. We're going to have a look at the components of fitness, and we're going to rate 4 members of staff on their components of fitness.
Oh, this could go so wrong, Mr. Brasier.
So we need 4 members of staff.
So just PE department, yeah?
Yeah.
We're not going to go whole school. No, we'll stick to PE department.
Mr. Rhodes, first contender.
I thought you said sportsman.
True. No Mr. Rhodes then. So criteria, you have to be able to play more than one sport or a sport.
Yeah, more than one sport.
Okay. Trip.
Well, she is the definition of an elite sports person.
Trip in.
Trip's got to go in.
So first person we're going to talk about will be Miss Tripp. Second person.
Oh, I really don't want to say this. Cinco.
Miss Sinclair.
Oh, it's killing me to even say it. His head is going to get so big.
What? In. Sinclair in. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sinclair in. 2 more holes to fill.
Heart or nickel?
Nickel? Well, we've got Mr. Sinclair.
Are you suggesting Mr. Hart isn't a sports person?
I'm suggesting that Mr. Hart and Mr. Sinclair play the same sport or have played the same sport. So Mr. Nickel potentially brings something different from Tripp and Sinclair.
Yeah, let's go with Nickel then.
Nickel. And then...
And everyone loves Nickel.
Everyone loves Nickel. Clark, Mr. Clark, basketballer.
Yeah, I was about to say, because obviously Miss Wisson and Miss Kay both netballers.
Yeah, so they're
already
ruled out by Tripp.
Mr. Clark, basketball player. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Mr. Clark in.
Clarky as well.
So our 4...
Cool, Clarky's first year and he gets in the pod.
Our 4 teachers we're going to look at are Tripp, Clark, Sinclair and Nickel. So first we're going to rate them on their components of skill-related fitness. So we're going to look at agility, coordination, power, reaction time, speed, balance, and then we're going to give them a total. Happy with that?
Okay.
If we go...
Oh, so we're going all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we go 4 for the highest,
Yep.
1 for the lowest, and then at the end we can see who the most complete athlete is out of those 4.
Okay.
Yeah? So, start off with agility.
Yeah, good one.
Alphabetical. Agility, right. So, Tripp, Clark, Sinclair and Nickel. Should we put Clark as bottom now, or should we talk about it? Or?
Definition of agility though, Mr. Brasier.
Definition of agility. I thought you'd never ask. So, the definition of agility, as I flick through my notes, so I'll give you the factually correct definition, is the ability to control the movement of the whole body and change direction quickly. So an example of a test for this would be the Illinois agility test.
Oh, fine test.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of them, God, see, he's a basketball player, Clarky, though. They need a lot of agility. If you think about their sports in these 3, Nickel, if we're classing Nickel as a triathlete,
yeah,
because he's a retired footballer, isn't he? So you can't class him as a footballer anymore. He's a triathlete.
As soon as you play vets football, you're not a footballer anymore.
Yeah, you're done. So agility-wise, you don't need much.
No. True, but out of the 4, who would win an Illinois agility test?
Okay, so we're going on that.
Nickel would be up there, wouldn't he?
Is that what we're going on? Is that the judgment, so?
Well, how would you test agility? You'd test it by an agility test, wouldn't you?
I still think he'd be lower down.
Okay. Who's first?
I think Sinclair.
Sinclair's dodging and weaving.
Yeah, I think Sinclair.
So, Sinclair, 4 points.
He's played a good level of sport and you don't get that far being as small as he is. gone far.
Trip, Clark.
You must
Trip.
avoid getting smashed.
Trip plays in the D though, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. But she's going to be very quick
Yeah.
and sharp.
Clark.
I reckon.
I'd go Clark 3 points, Trip 2 points, Nickel 1 point.
Okay. I was going to go Clark and Trip the other way round. But you're the pod king.
So Clark 3, Trip 2, Nickel 1 point. Nickel was everyone's favourites to win it. He's starting off in last
He's
place.
going to be so upset.
Right, next component of fitness we're going to talk about is coordination. So that is the ability to move 2 or more body parts together.
This is not one of my finest components myself.
No, if we was rating you,
Not very
minus
good.
4.
Not very
So
good.
coordination, I'm going to say Nickel's struggling here again because coordination, Trip to make sure her body's in the correct position and to receive the ball. Same with Clark, so netball, basketball link
Them three are
really
gonna
well.
be- This is
Sinclair
always-
again, and then Nickel, coordination wise.
This is always the one with coordination, though. People always think straight away about hand-eye coordination, don't they?
Mm.
And it's not necessarily just the hands. We always talk about how complicated coordinating your feet to play football as well as run.
Yeah.
There's also the fact that he's having to get himself sorted, to get out of the water, get onto bikes.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of coordination. But again, if he's just throwing a ball against the wall in the alternate wall ball toss.
Yeah. True. So, right, I reckon we should just make a decision, coordination. I would say
I'd say Trip at the top.
Trip, agreed. Trip 4 points. So
Yeah.
Trip's on 6 so far.
I think Cinco is going to come in. I think he'll just edge Clark here.
Yeah. So Sinclair on 7 points, Clark on 5 in total,
Nickel's
and
gonna
Nickel's
win
on
again.
2.
Oh, Nickel's never going to come to this school again. He's going to stay at home.
Right, power. So power is the ability to undertake strength performances quickly. So the key to this is quick, isn't it? So you're doing something with power and you're doing it quickly. So a nice, quick, powerful movement.
So strength and speed combined.
Yeah.
Cool. Again, this fits perfectly with rugby.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But power-wise, Mr. Clark is a big
He is.
guy.
He's
strong.
His calves look like they've swallowed a melon. They are huge.
So, power.
He's
Nick-
probably going to be up there.
Yeah.
But Nickel's got to have to be up there to be able to...
Size, body size to power ratio. Said that horrendously.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Size to weight ratio, all of that.
To drive up them hills as well on his bike.
Yeah.
I mean, Trip
Trip's
is a
a
powerful girl.
I think the 4 athletes here, if they was against anyone else, they'd probably win.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think you're probably going to say that Clark is going to be up there.
Clark wins
I
this
think
then.
so.
Clark wins. Sinclair, depend how hard he's been hitting the gym. I mean, at the moment...
Yeah, it depends if he's doing bulking or ripping
at the moment,
season.
he's got his gym in his dining room as we're in lockdown.
Yeah, I think it's going to go Cinco.
3rd, 3 points even.
Yeah.
3 points. Then
I actually think to lift... I don't know if this is me just being a little bit sympathetic towards Nickel. I think Nickel might get 2 for this one.
Okay. That definitely is you being sympathetic, but I'll let you have it. Power
Trip
done.
with 1. Oh.
So that was Clark with 4 points for power, Sinclair 3, Nickel 2, and Trip 1. You've definitely pitied Nickel there. 100%. Right, one that might favour Nickel a little bit more is reaction time. So it is the time between the presentation of a stimulus and the onset of movement.
I think the netball and basketballers, so Trip and Clark are going to be very good. They're going to be high in this. I think this is going to be one of the toughest ones. I think.
Is that because they're such quick games?
Yeah, the speed in which the ball is moving, the time they have to adjust to players around them, to even just the to avoid like clashing into people, especially basketball going through the key. Any of the basketballers in the school will tell you how much they have to be aware of what's around them. Whether that's agility more than reaction time is obviously a conversation to have, but I think you've got to have the reaction time to spot the stimulus and then move your body. And Mr. Clark has a big old body to move as well.
Yeah. So Sinclair, thinking as a 9 in rugby, obviously he's producing the stimulus a lot of the time. So it's not necessarily he's making other people react to his start of the stimulus. So that could be him taking the ball out of the back of a ruck or a scrum.
Yeah, it's all at his pace, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he's setting the pace of the game.
Are you suggesting that he goes at the bottom here?
I'm suggesting Sinclair
requires it less.
With 1 point.
Okay.
I think Sinclair reaction time is lower than the other three.
I would actually put Tripp. I think Tripp would probably be at number 1, just because she's having to do a lot of the things that we said that Clark would have to do.
Yeah.
But also she's having to block.
Yeah.
As a goalkeeper in netball, she's always reacting to the stimulus of a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention trying to intercept passes.
Yeah.
Cool, we've been very nice to Tripp, aren't we?
We are. Right, speed is the rate of which an individual can perform a movement or cover a distance.
Cool,
this is the nickel factor.
This is a good one.
Right,
I think this is a Cinco factor.
Should we just talk about... Oh, okay, I'll give my points for nickel
on,
and you give your points for Sinclair. So his discipline is all about speed. It's how quickly he can get from that start line to the finish line.
Yeah.
Okay. He's doing it at 3 different disciplines. He's swimming, he's cycling, and he's running.
Okay.
So he needs the speed in the disciplines that he's doing it in. He then needs the speed between the turnovers. So he's shoes on, shoes off, cleats on, cleats off. He's being prepared. He's doing everything as quick as he can to make sure that no one gets a gain over him and he has an advantage over everyone else.
Cool, you should be in a court of law. You've really convinced me, yeah?
Is it the hair? It's that the wig, isn't it?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. However, is that not more the cardiovascular endurance aspect? Because he's not doing any of those things over a short period of time. I know speed isn't necessarily just short, but I think that is where it comes into the impact on the actual sport, is how a short period of time.
Yeah.
When you think about Cinco, he is rapid. I think that and the impact it has on his game when he's playing as a winger, or as a fullback, particularly in rugby, he is going to have a lot of opportunity to use that speed to his benefit.
Yeah.
You think of most successful rugby players in those key positions, speed is always a factor. But the 3 disciplines thing for Nickel is making me think.
And I know he does a lot of time trials on the bike that are short, quick.
Okay, so I mean,
I'm happy.
Sinclair's going to be devastated he's not won this section.
So
I mean, so is Tripp and Clark.
Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned them.
I think speed. I think Mr. Clark would be the slowest.
But I would say he requires it more in his position in basketball than Tripp does in her position.
Okay. If it was a race,
who would win?
Who would win? Tripp or Clark?
I mean, if it was a fight, it's going to be Mr. Tripp.
Hell of a fight.
It's going to be Tripp.
I'd not split them up.
Or in a race, yeah, I think Tripp. I think
Tripp does Clark. So that is Nickel 4 points, Sinclair 3, Tripp 2, and Clark 1. Now we're going to move on to balance. So, do you want to, So, balance is being able to keep the body stable while at rest or in motion.
Okay. Really important for the majority of sports.
And
I think underrated.
Massively important in netball, I'm going to argue, because every time I play netball, as my ability is so low, my impact on the game is energy.
Okay.
So I'm buzzing around, I'm moving as quickly as I can, then every time I receive the ball, I can't stop my feet in time. So I'm giving away footwork all the time, and I'm giving the ball
It's one
away.
of the things we find all the time when we have the boys against the girls.
Yeah.
The boys struggle to stop because they're not used to it.
And in basketball, you receive the ball, you take 2 steps, you've stopped, you can then move the ball. Whereas in netball, as soon as you receive the ball, you've got to slam the brakes on.
Footwork straight away. So I think that argues that Tripp goes straight at the top of the table then.
I would say so.
I mean, the only balance Nickel needs is on his bike. And he still has stabilisers.
He does.
Very quick stabilisers.
Very quick stabilisers.
I'd love to see Nicholson's stabilisers on his race bike.
So, Tripp 4 points.
Yeah, I think so.
A balance.
This is hugely underrated in sport. You think about Messi and players like that, like footballers, without the balance, they're nowhere near as efficient as they are.
Yeah.
And I imagine Cinco being short, he's going
Low
to have a low
centre
centre of gravity, his balance is going to be unreal.
Yeah.
As already alluded to, Mr. Clark's a big lad.
Yeah.
He's going to be cutting down a tree with him.
So, Sinclair 3 points.
Yeah, I think so.
And Clark, you won?
Yeah, I think Clark is going to be lower.
Right. So, that is your components of skill-related fitness.
Cool.
Should we...
total them up.
Should we embarrass every PE teacher in England and do maths live on a podcast? Right, so Tripp is 6, 7, 11.
Well, how's your maths going here?
17. Tripp. Right, Clark.
I'm impressed that you're doing this without Excel here.
Thank you. 11. He struggled at the end there, isn't he, Clark? He's gone 3, 2, 4, 2, 1, 1. He's let himself down with speed and balance.
Well, but he now knows his areas of improvement. He
does.
knows what he needs to target his next personal exercise program on.
Yeah. Oh, I think Clark and Tripp. Tripp and Sinclair. I'm gonna double check my maths. Yeah, 17.
Oh
It's
no!
tied. Right, 1.
You'll be able to do nickels on your hands, won't you?
It's not far off. We are at 13. Oh, interesting. So we've got two ties. We've got Tripp and Sinclair both on 17 points. We've got Nickel and Clark both on 13 points. So we can't pick a complete athlete.
So the whole purpose of...
So this was pointless. What a waste of time.
That was.
Yeah.
But what we have discovered is how they are all very, very good in a range of areas.
Shall we really quickly talk about the health-related components of fitness?
See if that can edge it.
Yeah. So if we talk... We'll talk about all four, because then we can split someone lowest and someone highest, hopefully. We can have a winner and a loser. Cardiovascular fitness, Nickel. Screen.
Yeah, it's going to be 100%.
So Nickel's going to have the edge.
Come on, I think we keep this rating going here. I think we can... Right, yeah, let's add these in.
Right, so... get my table up. So Tripp, Clark, Sinclair and Nickel. So cardiovascular fitness, Nickel is on 4 points.
100%.
And then we've got 3 games players.
I think it will be Cinco.
3.
I think it'll be Clark, and then I think it'll be Tripp. I'm not saying... I would still argue Tripp is probably fitter than Mr. Clark and Mr. Sinclair because of the level she plays at.
And the lack of movement in the position she plays. So for those of you that need the definition, it's also known as cardiovascular endurance or stamina. So it's the ability to exercise your whole body for a long period of time. Right, next one up. We are going with flexibility.
God, this is a tough one.
So flexibility is the range of motion of your joints or the ability of your joints to move freely.
As you get older, your flexibility does decrease. Definitely. So I think that straight away puts Mr. Nickel and Mr. Sinclair lower down.
Do you think Mr. Clark's flexibility would be higher than those two? I don't fancy Mr. Clark's chances of touching his toes.
Well, straight away, Tripp's at the top then.
Yeah.
Tripp will be at the top. She's an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Regularly training. She was mentioning the other week about how they do a lot of yoga and stretching in sessions.
I think I know the age factor would play a part with Nickel, but the amount he'd have to stretch to keep himself in the condition.
Go on then. I know you want to put Nickel in second place. Go on, get him in there.
Nickel's on 3. So that would go Clark and Sinclair.
Toss up a coin here, isn't it?
Sinclair does a lot of power stuff. I'm not sure how much he works on his mobility.
Right, he's going to go 1 then.
1 point.
And Clark in at 2 points.
So, muscular strength.
Oh, I feel like Cinco could come back here.
Muscular strength. So, this is the amount of force that a muscle can exert against a resistance.
Oh, the resistance is interesting. For Nickel and his cycling.
Yeah. But would that be muscular endurance?
Yeah, because he's repeatedly doing it over a long period of time, yeah.
Muscular strength.
If you put
who
them
would be able to lift more weight? Clark or Sinclair?
I think Clark. And Cinco's going to hate that. He won't enjoy that.
So I don't think he'll still be listening at this point. I think he'll be long gone. So
no, his ego won't allow him. He wants to find out where he finishes.
Clark in 4 points, Sinclair in 3.
Yeah.
I would then say Tripp muscular strength would be higher than Nickel.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Body composition's a difficult one. You can't rate body composition because for all 4 of their sports they need different body shapes.
Yeah, I think the only thing you could say is like how, in terms of their positions and how important body shape is. But again, it is a tough one to rate. Are we taking the easy route here?
Yeah, I don't think we can rate body composition.
Okay, let's move that on. What is body composition though?
Lovely link. You're a natural.
I know.
So body composition is the percentage of bone weight that is muscle, fat, or bone.
I feel as though I'm edging towards endomorph looking at that screen at the moment, Mr. Brasier. I need to get out running a little bit more.
It's been a long lockdown, isn't it, already?
Yes.
So, last one we're going to talk about is muscular endurance. It's the ability to use voluntary muscles repeatedly without getting tired. So, Nickel has got to be...
He's going to be 4, isn't he?
Got to be 4.
He's got to be. His discipline is insane.
I could never do the amount of training.
I struggle just to run.
Yeah.
I don't think I could swim 100 metres, let alone how far he has to swim. That's ridiculous.
In open water as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of waves.
Yeah. Right, so Tripp, Clark, Sinclair. 1, 2 and 3.
So if we're going for their sports, I would say the ability to constantly hit rucks.
Yeah.
He's basically running doggies the whole time.
Yeah.
Cinco's going to be up there.
I agree. I'd
This
say
is a
3
really hard
points.
one because basketball...
Have we picked 2 sports that are too similar? Have we picked netball and basketball?
No, I don't think so because positionally they're very different in terms of... Tripp is a lot more... She's restricted to what she can do.
Yeah.
Whereas Clark is obviously up and down the court.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Clark edges Tripp for that reason. I think the big thing is Tripp is a little bit of a victim of her position here. And I think we are at risk of possibly not doing her justice in terms of our knowledge of the game, maybe.
Yeah. But she has come joint top in the skill-related fitness.
She has. That is true. So we do appreciate the high level of sports woman that she is.
Mm-hmm. Right, so totals at the end of that. We've got Tripp on 8 points. We have only judged on 4 things here, so scores will be lower.
Would you like me to get the calculator out here?
If that's okay, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
So,
look like you're all getting scared there.
Clark is on 10 for his health-related components of fitness.
Okay, so that gives him... Do you want to do the totals as we go through?
Should we do totals later?
Okay, all right, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. 10 for Sinclair again, joint with Clark and Nickel.
He's flown ahead, hasn't he?
Wow. 12.
Cool.
So,
look at this.
For health-related components of fitness, we've got Nickel first in 12 points. We've got Clark and Sinclair on 10, and then we've got Tripp on 8. So, grand totals, Mr. Goldman.
Okay, so we have Tripp. Wow. On 25.
25 points.
Do you want to write these down because you're going to forget these, Mr. Brasier? So 25. We have Clark on 23.
Respectable.
We have Cinco on 27.
Ooh, can Nickel do it?
And we have Nickel on 25.
So,
This is my worst nightmare. I can't believe this has happened.
And we fixed the whole thing so he wouldn't win, and he's won.
Oh my God, we're never going to live it down.
So,
I'm avoiding him for as long as possible.
The most complete athlete in the Samuel Whitworth PE department, Mr Goldman, has not been measured because it's me and you.
Well, there is
Simple.
that. We could vote ourselves. So he's effectively the third.
Yeah. So me, you, then Sinclair.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's an argument between me and you.
Yeah. So it's me, and then you, and then Sinclair. Right. So just a little recap. That was the components of skill and the components of health-related fitness. Thank you very much for listening.